There are many opinions about homeschooling out there. You just start a little internet search and you can end up on some amazing rabbit trails to see what people are thinking about homeschooling. Now, some of them will resonate with your own personal beliefs and opinions, and some certainly don't. There are opinions on both sides, of course. You have those who are for it and those who are against it. Now, for me, I actually can struggle with opinions that are given freely without any sort of research or information to back it up. But I also get the fact that, people have their own thoughts and their ideas and even some very strong opinions, and it's totally okay to have that. And of course, you can share those with others. But you also have to be fine with people not agreeing with you. Hi, and welcome to Learning Life, and thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to have a little look at some opinions that I have thoughts on. Lots of thoughts at times. There are opinions out there, and sometimes we really look for things that are going to help us maybe refine our thoughts or help us build up, and we come across things that might be controversial, and we have all of that. Look, this is why I bring these videos. I love to bring ones about education, about parenting. I love to be helpful, but I also don't mind being a little bit controversial here and there, sort of get thinking, because I know I get thinking. I have a lot of thoughts. And with these videos, I am so thankful that you are watching them and that you are sharing them, and for your likes, your subscribes, and your comments. Oh, I thank you. And I thank you for watching today, as now I bring you my thoughts, and I just want you to know they don't have to be yours. They really don't. But I also know that there are opinions out there that I am going to be fact-checking, because I love to fact-check. My husband can laugh at me the number of times I'll be like, nope, got to fact-check this, or be like, oh, somebody said something. This is okay. This is what it is. Homeschooling is full of so many amazing and great things, but there are opinions that I don't agree with. Homeschooling presents a threat to society. This one makes me chuckle. Really? A threat to society? What? How? Are you kidding me? Look, I read a few articles on this, and, interesting read. I could see the points that they were trying to make. And part of the opinion is that they felt that most homeschoolers believe that homeschooling is always better than public or private schools. And this takes away from schools, in the essence of funding and all of those essentials that schools need. So you have those points, and when we're using keywords like always, then we know that we've got some thoughts happening on here. But guess what? Universal acceptance of everybody going to school, to an actual school, in the grand scheme of history is a relatively new idea. It's under 300 years old. Homeschooling used to be the primary source of education. So if it wasn't presenting a threat to society then, how is it presenting a threat to society now? I think that homeschooling is great for society because we need choice, and homeschooling happens to be one of those. And as homeschooling continues to rise and more families are doing it, well, we are seeing more and more well-adjusted kids succeeding in life. So how is that a threat to society? Socialization is problematic in homeschooling. Critics argue that the social aspect of traditional schooling is essential for a child's development. Seen that come up quite a few times in different essays and articles and thoughts out there. Is it? Is it really? Because I would say that schools actually are not essential for a child's development, especially socially. I've seen this from my own classroom teaching experience, okay? They are restricted in their interactions with others. Is socialization really at school, where our kids are going to get it? Now, can socialization at home be problematic? Of course. If you're not going anywhere and your children are just staying at home and only interacting with family, maybe one or two others, of course, it is going to be problematic. But I have found that to be the exception, not the rule. I have seen so many healthy, thriving homeschooled children who know how to talk to a variety of ages, including adults, who know how to behave in public and all that jazz. I do have a video on this homeschooling socialization controversy. I think it's a little funny that it's so controversial. The link will be down below, so you can check that out. If you are struggling, just keep going. Don't put your child into school. Look, if you are really struggling with homeschooling, you need to reevaluate and reassess if it's right for you. You might actually find that it really is and the struggles are just a blip. Maybe you find that what you really need is some help around the house and that will ease the struggle. Our struggles come in like many forms, but to tell someone who is struggling to just press on isn't the best advice. Mental health of homeschooling parents is so important. And I've heard this before, and it's like, no, you struggle. Don't you dare put your children into school. Like this is the worst thing. Look, maybe you just need to take a week off and do nothing. That won't hurt your kids. Or maybe you need to put them into school for a season so that you can breathe. Again, that won't hurt your kids, even if they don't like it. And we have other options too. Do school 3 days a week and do year-round schooling to get you 180 days. You have to do what works for you. If you are struggling, take a break. Assess, make choices that are good for you and your family. Yes, homeschooling requires a significant time commitment from parents. And we have to juggle teaching responsibilities and other obligations. There's work, household chores, there's personal time, and that can be challenging. It may lead to stress or burnout, but it doesn't have to. I disagree with this opinion that if you're struggling, the last thing you should do is put your kids into school. I love homeschooling. I am a huge proponent of homeschooling, and I want to do it for my children their entire way through. But I have also learned, and I have encouraged people, and I am willing to say, put your children into school if that is the best thing for you all. Homeschoolers are judgmental. I think we get judgmental people in every category. Do many homeschoolers have strong opinions? Yes. But then, so do people who like guns or like essential oils or dirt bikes or homesteading or, toys like this, that modern medicine. See what I'm getting at? Okay. Anybody can be judgmental if we've got something, that we really, really like. I don't believe that homeschoolers are judgmental as a whole. I think just we get excited and want to share what we love. And don't we do that with anything that we love? We want to share it. And those who find this excitement uncomfortable can often perceive it maybe as judgment. It's not. It's excitement. Now, I will say that, yes, I have experienced homeschool parents judging me because of how I homeschool my girls. I dare to do things a little bit differently. Their judgment of me actually doesn't faze me. They are doing what is right for them. And they are, they're entitled to think I'm not doing it the right way, like their way. But it also doesn't make me think that everybody is judgmental, okay? That, we're all just judging how we're homeschooling, or we're all out there judging anybody who has their kids in school. We're not out there going, homeschool's the best, chuck out the rest. And we're not decrying school left, right, and center and being like, never send your children to school. We're not like that. We're just a group of people who are really excited and have thoughts about it. And again, anyone can be judgmental about anything. And that is their deal. Your faith decides your curriculum choice. This is one that might cause some tension because I do not think that you have to use a Christian curriculum if you are a Christian. There, I said it. There are some beautiful options on both sides of the faith equation. So when we're saying faith-based or secular, beautiful options. And we are all entitled to pick the curriculum that we like. But, if we're going to be bold and say, you are a Christian and you should not use curriculum X, Y, and Z, or Z, because they are not faith-based, is actually presumptive of the parents, their goals, all the things that they have set up, like for homeschooling. I don't usually present my faith here in these posts, in these videos, because, I feel like it's my place to just like be out there. I will express it if it's going to help like explain my reasoning or my opinion. Yes, I am a believer. Yes, we are a family of faith. But we certainly don't use only Christian curriculum. We don't use like a lot of curriculum, but what I pick and choose from, I actually look for it in its merits. And I usually don't take the faith component into the decision unless it's something like I really disagree with on either side. If it's just something that is just, I feel like it's just like pounding too hard on the faith side, I might not pick it. Or, it has something like over here. Guess what? I am an adult who can skip a section if needs be. All right. We have like one faith-based subject like that we're using like a faith-based curriculum for. And we have another one that is a secular curriculum. So if there's things that I don't like in either, guess what? I can skip it. And my husband and I also invite like questions and discussions about issues because we're actually really not afraid to address it as it comes up in an age-appropriate way. You pick the curriculum that works best for your child. Now, of course, I am not saying that we should just all throw caution to the wind and use something that goes against our values and our beliefs. I am not saying that. But what I am saying is that you can make it work for you if you really like most of it. Let's say you like 95% of it. Oh, but there's that one little bit. Guess what? Don't do that one little bit. It's really that easy. And I will say, just because you are a Christian, you don't have to use a Christian curriculum. So these are homeschooling opinions that I don't agree with. And I'm totally okay if you don't agree with me. Isn't it wonderful like that we have options and choices and opinions and facts and ideas and thoughts and all of that? What are some that maybe you don't agree with? I would actually love to know. I'm always like, ooh, what do people think? Because it really gets me thinking, and I want to be challenged in my thinking too. Look, what we choose to do with our thoughts and our opinions and all of that, that's up to us. How we choose to communicate them, that is up to us. We're all entitled to these. And I'm not here like to ram them down people's throats. I want people to know that it's okay to challenge thoughts and opinions, that we don't have to agree with everything because we're not robots. We are amazing people who have different backgrounds, different cultures, different ideas, and our opinions can strengthen us and strengthen our friends too, just like theirs strengthen us. So these ones I don't agree with, but there are plenty that I do. But thank you so much for watching today. And I would love to hear if you've got any opinions that you don't agree with, and why. I would love to know. Just shoot a comment down below. And thank you for watching and being part of this learning life. And you can help get these videos out there. You can do that by becoming a champion. So check that out at patreon.com or at my website, LearningThis.Life.